Hello there, today is June 19th and it's like 9:30 a.m. 2025. Obviously, it's Thursday, and I just wanted to record this for my future self and also if someone else happens to watch this, how my process has been of being laid off, being put into another campaign on the same company, and then quitting right now and being unemployed. Basically, to tell all of, well, not much of the process, but how my mindset, um, that it's all about the mindset, right? That the things that I've gone through, even in this few weeks, that even if it's been hard, well, like 2 months, 3 months maybe, is the, yeah, that I've had um, hard 3 months. My fucking English doesn't work right now. Yes, that even if I've been struggling, and now that I'm into the position that I was dreading the most, which is being unemployed, I feel a lot better than I thought I would feel, and that all it took, per se, not all it took, because it sounds like it was something very simple, but all it takes is change on your mindset. And how I basically overcome those issues. And I'm not saying that I'm an expert on mindset things now. Not at all. I still struggle a lot every day with the negative thoughts, but just being aware of them and learning to push them away and not let them affect you, um, in your life, right? In your decisions. That is what matters the most. So yes, I have recorded this before, but it was way too long, and I kind of talk about the same thing too much time. So now I did some notes. So yes, the first thing. Well, before I was laid off in the end of April, and before that, I was feeling miserable. Like the previous 2 weeks before I was laid off, I was feeling miserable every day, dreading being getting to work every day, and I was just seriously, really thinking about quitting. I had been thinking about quitting before, but I was like, no, I need to save a certain amount of money and then I can quit. But then I was like, I don't care, I'm going to quit. Like, I cannot take this anymore. I was working in a call center, by the way, and yes, it was really too much for me in a lot of different ways. The work was too much, too overwhelming. I don't know. And just thinking back a little bit, it also depends a lot on your mindset and your personality, how you take those kind of jobs. But still, it was too hard for me and too much for me. So yes, like the week before I was laid off, I was hitting my head every day when I woke up because I didn't want to wake up to get up, start with my day and have to work, right? I was hitting my head every day when I woke up, like, oh fuck, another day, and I will hit my head, like, literally. And that is a kind of self-harm, I've learned. If you pinch yourself, if you hit your head, if you, I don't know, those kind of actions are self-harm still. But anyways, yes, I was hitting my head every day, and the actual week that I was laid off, I was so overwhelmed and so low that I needed to find something, right, to help me. So I find a method, not a method, but some YouTube videos about mindset and whatnot help me, and that don't let the actions of other people affect you. I know this is something that you heard a lot about, but it actually clicked with me that week that I was laid off. So when I was laid off, I started laughing because, well, I was actually already um, um, expecting to quit. I mean, expecting to be laid off, because in those kind of jobs, and I think every corporate job now, you are your position is not set, right? You can be laid off in the middle of the shift, and that's it. They don't let you know 2 days before, one day, just you're laid off, bye bye. Thank you for working with us, bye bye. So yes, and I started laughing because I just thought how funny. I laughed because it's how curious life works. That I was laid off when I was started to not let the job affect me, and I was building some positive thoughts and actions. So I was like, how funny is that now that I feel comfortable with the job now, I get laid off. So I was like, okay, and then 2 hours later they say, oh no, you're not laid off anymore. We have you for consider with another campaign, and the training is going to be 2 weeks, and the payment is going to be less. I mean, yes, the payment is going to be less, and the hours are going to be more. So before I was working 40 hours, and now I was going to be working 45 hours for the same amount of job, maybe even harder, or more heavy, because it was back-to-back calls. In the previous one, it was not back-to-back all day, but it was literally back-to-back. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, when I was in the training, I was like, okay, when I was told that I was going to be considered, I was going to be started a new training, I was like, okay, because the payment is less, it has to be that the job is less or a little harder, right? Or less calls or something. But now it's the fucking same thing. And I was like, I cannot stay here anymore. I don't want to be working in another campaign, because if I get stuck in this job again, I'm gonna start being miserable. Okay, stop, ya. No te puedes sentar ahorita conmigo. I love her bird, but I cannot record if she is sitting on top of me. So yes. And I'm trying to record this as fast as possible, because my sister might come in any point, and I don't want her to see me recording. So yes, and yes, I was just like, my brain couldn't handle the idea of being stuck in a call center again, in that kind of call center. So I was like, hell no, I'm going to take these 2 training months to find a job, and then I'll quit before they start taking calls. So this Monday I quit, and this Monday, yes, I quit during the very start of the shift. Leo. And during the process, during all of that, during the time that I was taking the training and looking for a job, I had some low times. I felt really overwhelmed every day. I felt hopeless. I felt doomed. Like, I felt like any other job that I would get, it was going to be the same shit. It was going to be corporate bullshit. The interview process is a bullshit. Like, why do I have to get a job in order to be able to fucking eat, to afford eating? Like, thinking about the system and whatnot, feeling doomed basically, and hopeless, which are dangerous feelings. And yes, during a week that I was feeling very low and overwhelmed and hopeless, basically hopeless, like, even if I get a job, I'm still going to be fucking tied to a fucking chair or a job every Monday through Friday, and I'm just going to have 2 days to work, 2 days to live my life, right? That, like, this isn't living, I started thinking. And I want to say this because it's real, I guess, and is what happened. 2 days or so, I started self-harming myself. Well, obviously myself. And it's not something like, oh, I'm going to do this to cope with the pain. Okay, I'm not like making fun of or anything, but I was not like, oh, I'm going to do this. Yes, this is self-harming, and I'm going to do this because it's going to help me or something like that. It was just something that happened, I guess. I had a piece, trigger warning, I had a piece of like broken glass on my desk, and I during the training. I was just like, and I saw it and I took it and I started like picking a little bit on my hard skin over here on my hand, and then it went into more other body parts. And yes, but I stopped. I switched to the, like, yes, I was having a lot of negative thoughts. Like I was feeling like I was weak and that I wasn't brave enough to stick to that job because my stress was being unemployed and not having money. But I felt like I had the answer in my hand, which was stay in the training and keep taking calls, keep this job. But it's going to be too hard on me, I know, but I know I can do it, but I'm going to be fucking miserable. And I felt weak because I couldn't stay there or stick to it or suck it up and just stay there even if you are miserable, right? You're going to be miserable either way if you are unemployed. But I just said I'm going to keep doing this if I'm working there still, so I cannot do this. So yes, I just did it for like 2 days or so, maybe 3 maximum, and I haven't done that in a while, or since then. I switched to the rubber band method, and now I don't have any rubber band. I took it off yesterday. So yes, but yes, I was feeling very overwhelmed, and yes, I just choose to not stay in their job because it was going to be too much for me. I've been discovering some things about myself as well, some things that trigger me because I think probably if I had a different kind of personality, I would be able to handle that kind of job a bit better, but I guess I'm too sensitive and I'm anxious, so that makes it a lot worse, and other things, right? So yes, I quit. As I said, I quit on Monday this week. Today is Thursday, and yes, before I quit, I was feeling very stressed. I was like very overwhelmed with a lot of thoughts, like how am I going to quit? Are they going to pay me the amount that they have to pay me legally because of a former employee, or are they going to play dumb to not request back the equipment, the shitty equipment, and not pay me the amount that I deserve, right? I was 9 months there, or almost 9 months there. So it might not sound like a lot of time, but when you're in a call center, 1 month feels like 3 fucking months. So yes, but I finally did it this Monday. I wasn't planning on quitting on Monday. I was planning on staying the whole week to be able to get my this Friday paycheck. But I was like, okay, the sooner I quit, the sooner I'm going to get my last payment for when you quit, right? Because I was not probably gonna be able to make it to Friday because I thought, or maybe they were going to start taking calls during training on Thursday and Friday. So I was like, there's no way I'm gonna take calls anymore, even if it's in training. It's basically like the same shit. So I was like, not. So, and on Thursday, the next day, on Tuesday, the next day, I had an interview and I wanted to get ready for it. I wanted to be prepared for it. And I needed time for that. So I couldn't because I needed to pay attention during the training because we were doing some role plays already. And yes, I was like, I'm just wasting my time here. I'm not going to get my Friday payment either way. So I might as well just quit and be a little more calm for my interview tomorrow, because also my interview was going to be on the lunch hour of my training, so it was like all too cramped up. I don't know. So yes, I just thought it wasn't worth it to stay there anymore, even if it wasn't training, making I don't know, how do you say, like making more hours, as much hours as possible to be paid as much money as possible on my last payment, of the quitting payment per se. But I just thought it's not fucking worth it. I'm going to quit right now, and I quit. I have my messages ready since I started the training, my messages for my trainer, and for HR I sent an email to HR, and then to my supervisor in WhatsApp. And today I have a call. Today, Thursday, they took a long time, some time, right, to tell me the process of quitting, of how the return of the equipment is going to go and whatnot. But yes, until yesterday, they told me that that I was going to have a meeting today at 11:30, I think, to for them, HR, to tell me about that. And then when I send them, by the way, on Monday, when I send the message to my trainer, she was like, okay, can I call you? And I was like, yes. And she was like, oh, what happened? And I don't think they should ask, why are you quitting? Like, I have a lot of reasons, and maybe you don't want to talk about it, and they ask, I mean, you could still say, I don't want to talk about it, but maybe they are going to think as you as reckless, or that you're just quitting just like that with no reason, and oh, you don't want to talk about it. I don't know. Maybe they are going to ask me, HR. I don't care at this point. Like, to keep a good relationship with your previous job. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't think they should ask. Just personal reasons. But what are those personal reasons? You don't have to care, right? But anyways, but okay, I quit, and now that I'm well, I quit on Monday. On Tuesday, I had my interview. They told me to wait for the second interview. If I was chosen, per se, I would have to wait to have a second interview. And they messaged me yesterday that I was to the next step, and I have second interview tomorrow, Friday, and we'll see how it goes. And now I'm just thinking, okay, if it's meant to be, it's going to be, and it's going to happen, and I just open to receiving what's meant for me already, and just to be open to receive it. And if this job is not worth it, I mean, it's not meant for me, it's not meant for me, it's going to happen, and it's going to be okay, and I'm going to be okay. Even if I'm going to be unemployed, I can do some side hustles, I can sell things or whatever. But I was just too stressed about being unemployed, right? Because I have previous experiences. Actually, last year I was unemployed during this same I quit during June as well, and I was like, fuck, I'm going to be unemployed again, and I'm going to be home with my sister, and we're going to not get along, and it's going to be so fucking miserable. But now things are different this year, and I'm actually excited to do some things, to try new things. And yes, I'm just excited, and I'm really happy that I feel this way, because it was my biggest fear, not my biggest fear of life, but my biggest fear of this situation, to be unemployed. And hopefully that tomorrow interview goes well, and I get hired, or I go to the next step or whatever. But if not, I just, now that I've not changed completely, but I'm trying to recognize those negative thoughts and push them away, and not let them control my actions, right? So yes, I think that's basically it. And now I'm feeling much better, that my mindset helps a lot. The mindset is the biggest thing that controls your life, I guess. one of the biggest things that control your life, and that I'm doing much better. I'm unemployed, but I'm okay. And I think this was a big learning experience, and from the hard times it comes knowledge that helps a lot, I guess. Not I guess, it does, but that's not the words that I was meaning to use, but yes. That always things, even when things are really dark and you see the no light, that there's always a way out or a way through. And yes, so now I'm excited on what life has planned for me, I guess. Well, not really planned, because I control my life, not the future or the universe. But yeah, I feel much better, and that's it. If you watch this, thank you very much. I didn't mention, this is my Cleo. Her name is Cleo. She's almost 1 year old. Bye.